Before I start this video, I just want to say I hope all my subscribers are doing great. Now it's been a while since I covered a good alien encounter, and today I'm going to go over one of my favorites. One of my favorite alien encounters, or in this case maybe angel encounter, happened on board a Soviet space station in 1985. This amazing encounter happened on board the Salyut 7. Now this space station was constantly experiencing problems. It was a doomed space station. And on one of its missions, 3 brave astronauts came face to face with something from out of this world. On day 155 on the Salyut 7, these astronauts noticed a strange orange cloud filling the space station. So they thought that there must be a fire on board. So freaking out, they tried to find out where this fire was coming from. But then, a blinding orange light filled the space station, and this light was coming from outside. And when the astronauts regained their sight, they looked out their window and saw an amazing sight. They saw 10 huge beings outside their station, just floating in space. These astronauts stated that these beings were glowing, had wings, what appeared to be halos over their heads, and were up to 80 feet tall. And they were just floating alongside their space station. Now their superiors thought that this sighting was a group hallucination caused by a lack of oxygen. But how could 3 trained astronauts hallucinate 10 enormous glowing entities with wings and halos at the exact same time? And what really blows my mind about this case is not too long after this sighting, 3 more astronauts arrived on the Salyut 7 and the exact same thing happened. One day while they were doing their daily task, an orange light filled the space station. And again they noticed that this blinding light was coming from outside, so they rushed to the window. And the 3 new crew members saw these 10 massive beings just floating outside their window. And they stated that they did have wings, what appeared to be halos over their heads, and that they were just massive. One astronaut stated that they were as big as an airliner. And one of these beings appeared to be smiling at them. Now, even after the second sighting, the Russian government believed that this was still caused by a group hallucination. Or at least, that's what they wanted their astronauts to believe. And they told them to not talk about this sighting, as this was Soviet Russia. They didn't want their citizens to know that their best astronauts were seeing massive beings that looked like angels that were floating in space. Now some say that this sighting is nothing but a hoax, just a story written by a newspaper. But there have been many experts, including a former British Prime Minister of Defense, that stated that this really happened. Or at least that these astronauts believed that they saw these beings. So if this is true, what are the chances that 6 astronauts would hallucinate the same thing at the exact same time? And also, I believe that this was the last mission of the Salyut 7. Not too long after these 2 encounters, the Russian government just let it fall into the Earth's atmosphere, making some wonder if they were trying to hide something. Another interesting sighting happened to a NASA engineer and astronaut, Leland Melvin. One day on Twitter, the account UFO Sightings Daily asked him what his thoughts were on extraterrestrial life and that if he had ever seen a UFO. And to his surprise, Melvin responded, "I have not seen one on ground or in space, but once I thought I saw an alien organic life form in the payload bay." Now after he saw this, he called NASA and asked them what this could have been. But they told him that they believed it was probably ice. But Melvin stated that what he saw looked organic to him. Now this UFO enthusiast was shocked. He didn't think he was going to get an answer like this. And what makes this sighting even more interesting is there was another NASA employee, allegedly, that claimed something similar. This man, Clark, a spacecraft operator, stated back in 2008 that he worked on over 650 missions. And during one of these missions, he saw on the monitor from the Kennedy space station an astronaut and a 9-foot alien talking to each other on the payload bay. Now this story at the time got a lot of attention. and most believe that Craig was just a crazy guy or a man trying to get attention. But NASA never confirmed or denied that he worked there. And after many investigations, it appears that Craig was a NASA employee. We have photos and what appear to be official NASA documents with his name on it. So instead of trying to deny that Craig worked there, it seems that NASA decided that it was probably best to just say nothing. Now, Clark believed that what he saw on the monitor from the Kennedy space station was something he wasn't supposed to see, a top secret mission. And after he retired from NASA, he wanted to tell the world what he saw. Clark wrote that this alien was very tall and that it was communicating with 2 tethered astronauts in the payload bay of a NASA spacecraft. He also claimed that he saw the alien spacecraft not too far from the payload bay. Now, not too long after the story blew up, many called Clark a liar, or that maybe he was just seeing things. But Clark replied that he has expertise in visual recognition of crafts created and flown by the human race, whether they be secret or otherwise. He declared, "I know an ET and an alien craft when I see one." Now, Clark also claimed that an astronaut who died in the Challenger explosion in 1986 told him one amazing story. This famous astronaut, Ellison, who was a lieutenant colonel, asked Clark one day if he believed in aliens. Then he told Clark that many years ago, when he was an engineer for the Air Force, he, along with other men, were taken to a viewing room. And Ellison claimed that he saw some sort of army film that showed dead aliens. And he later believed that these dead aliens on this film were the ones that died at Roswell. And if true, maybe the reason the Air Force showed them this film without telling them any information about it is maybe they wanted to see their reaction, as the men in this room were the best of the best. Now, sadly, since Ellison died in 1986, he can't confirm this story. And if Clark is lying, this is one heck of a lie to tell. But there have been many other whistleblowers over the years within the government who have come forward claiming that aliens do exist and that they might just be communicating with our government. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.